Now, what I have in my hand is something pretty unique, something a little different than we normally see here on the channel. This is from OneXPlayer, and they make a lot of gaming type of stuff. This is an ultra mini PC, or an ultra portable PC, as you can see here. Pull forward design. You could also put it into tablet mode, but we'll get into it more in this review. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty unique design. It's got a book style cover here. It's calf skin, so it's apparently real leather. Apparently, we'll have to check all that out. Decent port selection, got decent performance for such a thin and light type of device, but it's a really nice travel companion, especially if you need Windows to get work done, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. This thing is pretty kind of cool, actually. So we're gonna get into it and more why I think this is maybe one of the most interesting mini laptops you can find on the market at a 10.1 inches, high-end display. Got some pretty nice features. Now, of course, it's not perfect. We'll get into it and more in this review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the OneXPlayer One-Netbook 5 here for 2024. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, and pursuant to the FTC guidelines, I'm not being paid by OneXPlayer. I'm not being sponsored by OneXPlayer. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. OneXPlayer is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. And once this review is done, I'll be sending it back to OneXPlayer. All right, let's check out the pricing, and the price starts at $1,099, and that gets you 32 gigabytes of RAM and a terabyte of storage, and that is not a bad deal. But consider this: bundle that with a stylus, mouse, and protective bag for only $30 more. You are getting more for your money here, and I would recommend going with that, especially with that stylus. If you want to take notes, sketch out artwork with this 3-in-1 design, this is a really good one. So for those interested, I will leave a link to the website of OneXPlayer where you can check it out for more information and where you can buy one. And for those that need extra storage, I like this option here with the 2 terabytes, of course. That comes in at $11.99. And again, for $30 more, you can go with that bundle that gets you the pen, the mouse, and the protective bag. That comes in at $1,230. Again, for anything here we talked about, links will be in the description below. You know the drill, folks. Let's get this out of the box. Okay, let's see what we have here. Looks like they gave us the pen here. You can see that right there. We'll check out this stylus in a little bit. Some packaging in there. And then, of course, we get the unit itself. And here's the unit itself. And you're looking at the One-Netbook here. And this is, this got 32 gigabytes. Looks like of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, so it looks like it's fully decked out. Now, this has the Core i7-1250U, so it's not the latest processor, but in this extremely ultra-portable device, I don't think it's going to matter all that much. It'll be certainly good for the basic tasks that you're going to want to use for this type of device, so this certainly will fit the bill. Okay, packaging looks pretty nice, and here it is, and I can tell you right off the bat, it's like a book style. So you got your braided USB Type-C cable, okay, and here's a pretty compact brick. Of course, it's USB Type-C. So that is how you're going to charge this device, and you get some instructions here. 1.5, of course, from the One-Netbook here, or whatever they're called. I keep forgetting the name. It's in English and in Chinese, it looks like. So pretty nice packaging here. And here it is. You can see it, of course. This is a pretty nice cover on here. You can see some of the ports over here. We're going to look at that in a moment. But the overall build quality is, it's got a book style feel to it. You just can take it with you. It's going to be really good in that regard. Now, according to their website, this is a calf hide material on that outer layer, and upon inspection here, it does feel like real leather. It does have a slight leather smell, and it does feel premium. It does look nice as well, very book-like, and it feels professional taking it to a meeting. So I like the aesthetics here, and I like the fact they are using supposedly real leather here. For those vegans out there against animal cruelty, I don't know what to tell you. I like it. I wear leather jackets, and this thing looks damn good. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the materials used. Okay, let's get a measurement of the weight in kilograms. We're looking at just about 1 kilogram, 1.002 kilograms, and that is 2 pounds, 3.3 ounces. So pretty compact to take with you on the go. Now, with the pen, let's get it back into kilograms. You're looking at 1.019 kilograms, and that is 2 pounds, 3.9 ounces, so it doesn't add much weight. With the GAN charger, 65-watt GAN charger, and the USB-C cable, 1.142 or 1.141 kilograms, and that brings it to 2 pounds, 8.3 ounces for a total travel weight. Pretty good to throw in your bag to take with you on the go. Of course, let's open this up. And there it is. And it's a mini laptop. And it raises to greet you. So you can see it here. Sort of raises up. And then, of course, you could bring it forward. So that's going to be very similar to the Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio 2 that we've been seeing the last few years, or whatever the latest iteration is. But that's going to give you that pull forward design. We saw it from HP on a number of devices, from the Dragonfly and all that stuff. So pretty interesting. Core i7 12th book. This is the One-Netbook 5 branding there. It's got Harman speakers, so that looks pretty good. Hopefully it'll have some decent sound. And pretty compact keyboard here, as you can see. So you can take a look at it there. You can see it there. So it is a very compact form factor. There's no doubt about it. Let me see if we could open it with one finger. Yeah, you can. And it goes back as far as you see there. So that means you're going to get a pretty good viewing angle. But of course, you can put it like this. And then, of course, you could put it like that as a tablet, and has a little bit of a ledge there where you can hold it. And that's going to be pretty comfortable. So pretty nice so far, and pretty nice build quality. I got to tell you, build quality feels good. Now, I'm wondering if this is a haptic touchpad. Doesn't look like any physical movement there. But again, I don't know. We'll have to take a look at it. But it's a pretty nice size considering how small this device is. Okay, let's check out the port selection. And on the left side is your USB Type-C port. It's a 4.0 port that does support my Thunderbolt drive from Sabrent. It's an SSD drive, so it does have some Thunderbolt functionality. At least that's what I can test. It showed the drive. It worked fine. You also get a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. And good to see a micro SD card reader. So moving over to the right side is your power button, which also doubles as your fingerprint scanner. And by the way, that worked very well. And then you have a second USB Type-C port, and this one is 3.2 Gen 2, and that does not have any Thunderbolt functionality, but it is full function, so that is good. You can support charge on that one as well. And that is the ports on this unit, and I would say overall a pretty decent port selection for such a mini laptop. And I was able to use my UPerfect portable monitor, 17.3 inches. I checked that out recently, so I'll leave a link for those that didn't see it, but worked perfectly. And I didn't need external power. There's enough juice being supplied by the One-Netbook 5 from that left port, USB 4.0 port, to that monitor. Now, if you plug it in on the right side on that USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, that one will need power in terms of plugging in the monitor, but the one on the left does not. So pretty good for terms of connectivity here to these external monitors and stuff like that. All right, let's talk about the display. And it's actually a really good display here. It's a 10.1-inch IPS display with a resolution of 2560 by 1600. That, of course, means it does have a 16:10 aspect ratio, which I'm a big fan of. It also has decent coverage of the color gamut. It also is a color-accurate display. So these are nice, pleasant surprises here with this display. It also has very good viewing angles. Now, one thing to note, it is a glossy display. Not overly glossy, but you will notice glare and reflection, of course, depending on your lighting conditions. conditions, and it gets pretty bright. Now, I think they're claiming about 400 nits or so. I actually measured 381 nits, so that's pretty decent here for this class of device. And I would say certainly bright enough, but of course it is glossy, so just keep that in mind. But overall, a pretty nice viewing experience. Watching Netflix, Amazon, YouTube has been great. Now, of course, you will notice the slight black bars on the top and the bottom. That is, of course, due to that 16:10 aspect ratio. So when you're watching media that has been optimized for 16:9, you'll see those black bars. Not a huge deal, but wanted to point that out. Now, one thing to note, this is a 60 hertz display. There's no option for higher refresh rate. It would have been nice to have at least 90 or 120, but I'm not sure if these panels exist at 10.1 inches, and I'm not sure if they could have sourced them, but nonetheless, 60 hertz is still fine, especially if you want to be productive. It's going to be good. It also will help on battery life. We'll get to the battery life later on, but my overall takeaway is this display is actually a really nice, pleasant surprise here. Pretty nice display overall. And this is a 3-in-1 design. So what does that mean? Well, you can use it as a laptop in terms of a laptop mode. That's a traditional way of using it. I use it most of the time like that. But of course, there's that pull forward design exposing just the touchpad. And that, of course, is great for presentations, consuming media. That's also pretty good. And then, of course, you could put it into the tablet mode. That's great for use with the pen. Now, the pen is an extra $30 with that bundle. And I think that's a really good deal, especially if you want to use this for taking notes, sketching at artwork. It supports 4,096 levels of pressure sensitivity. It supports tilt functionality, and I thought it worked very well. It's an all-metal design in terms of that pen. Now, one thing I did notice here, there is no place to store it as far as magnetically on the unit itself, so that's a little bit of a negative, so you will have to put it in a pocket in your bag. But other than that, I think the pen worked very well on this, and it's, again, great for a student taking notes or somebody who wants to sketch out diagrams, artwork, say in a meeting, or whatever you need to do. This pen will get the job done. Now, conspicuously missing is a webcam. Kind of surprising here in 2024. You would think they would put a webcam in there. I'm not sure if they just couldn't fit it in the bezel. I'm not really sure. So you'll have to use an external webcam, which gives you some benefits, of course, being able to go to a really high quality webcam. There are a lot of them on the market, but that means you'll have to carry an extra accessory with this device, which adds to the overall weight and travel package. So just bear that in mind. So a little bit surprising, no webcam, but I guess having no webcam is better than having a crappy webcam. I don't know. We'll have to debate on that, but overall, that's just something I wanted to bring up. Now, as far as touch typing on this keyboard, I had to get used to it. It took me about, I would say, half a day to get acclimated to it. Now, one thing you will notice is full-size keys over here, although the function row and the number row are smaller keys, so you'll have to get used to that. But touch typing is doable if you put the time in and just get acclimated to it. Again, like it took me a half a day maybe to get used to it, but you will get used to it. And touch typing on it was actually pretty good. The key travel was better than expected. Now, it does have a backlight on it that has pretty nice backlight on it, so you'll be able to see the keys in a dark room or a dimly lit environment, say on an airplane cabin that is dimly lit. You'll be able to do that. Now, one thing that was pretty interesting here is there's no moving parts on the touchpad. The touchpad, I guess, is haptic in a sense where you have to tap it and so forth. The feedback is actually pretty decent on it, and I was surprised to see it. I reached out to them. They didn't call it a haptic touchpad, but I think it is a haptic touchpad. Again, no moving parts, and I thought two-finger scrolling, doing all the gestures, everything worked. It's on the small side, but that's to be expected relative to the size of the device, so just bear that in mind. But overall, not too bad for a pointing device here. Now, this is not running the most recent processor, of course. This is running a Core i7-1250U, a 12th gen processor from Intel, which has 10 cores and 12 threads. And I would say for what you need this laptop to do, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, the performance will be certainly adequate. It'll be good enough. Now, don't expect to do high-end 4K video editing with this laptop. Don't expect to play AAA titles on their highest settings. You wouldn't want to do it with this. This is just not what this device is designed to do. But as far as the integrated Iris Xe graphics, we've seen that a couple of years ago. Certainly capable for playing some older titles if you wanted to, but I would say temper your expectations when it comes to performance. If you stick to the basics and use this as a travel companion type device and know the limitations, this is going to be a very good experience. I didn't find any slowdowns or hiccups when doing everyday tasks. I thought everything was very snappy and very fluid. So going with the 12th gen processor is not terrible in this, and I think the overall performance for what it is actually pretty good. Now, when it comes to the thermals, when pushing this under 100% heavy load, you'll notice it heat up about 48, 49 degrees Celsius above the keyboard, maybe even 50, 51, depending on what you're doing. But where you place your fingers when touch typing, it wasn't much of an issue, remained relatively cool. And when you're doing everyday tasks, I didn't find anything overly hot, remained relatively cool throughout. So just keep that in mind. Now, on the underside, there were a few hot spots reaching as high as 50, 51 degrees Celsius, and I didn't find it overly hot. But when you're doing everyday tasks, you'll be fine. It's just when you're pushing this at 100% heavy load, you will notice those temperatures starting to rise. So just keep that in mind. Now, fan noise will be an issue if you are pushing this, reaching as high as 52 decibels, which of course is quite noticeable. But when you're doing everyday tasks like Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, it remained relatively quiet with the fans coming on here and there intermittently. But again, when you're pushing this, it will bring up that fan noise and you will notice it. Now, my review unit has 1 terabyte of SSD storage partitioned into 2 drives, a C and a D drive. And as you can see, this is some excellent reads and writes on both drives. Really great to see that. Certainly Gen 4 speeds. And battery life on this was actually better than I expected, getting 7 hours and 27 minutes on my PC Mark 10 Modern Office test results here, and just shy of 7 hours on the video playback. So what does that mean? For a laptop with such a small battery, I would say not bad considering the form factor here. Don't expect to go all day with this, but it's not bad. And of course, you can connect to a battery bank or connect to the power charger. Now, it is a 65-watt GAN charger, which is great to see, and it does support very fast power delivery and fast charging. So pretty good in that regard. I like the fact that they are giving you that GAN charger. So one of the biggest surprises to me so far with this really, well, it's a mini laptop. There's no other way to describe this at 10.1 inches. That's what it is. Are the speakers. This is Harman tuned speakers that are quite good. Good mids, good bass, gets loud, fills up the room pretty nicely. This was a pleasant surprise here, but of course I want you to hear it. So let's give it a listen. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the OneXPlayer One-Netbook 5? And the first thing I would tell them is you need to shorten the name. Make it easy for us reviewers to remember the actual name of this product. But that being said, I really like this 3-in-1 design. It's got solid performance for everyday tasks. 3-in-1 laptop and tablet design to me is really good. It's got calf leather exterior, giving it a very premium quality here as far as the design and the overall aesthetics. And it's got a really nice 10.1-inch touchscreen. It is 2.5K resolution. It has pen support. It's got touch layer support. It's a usable keyboard despite its small form factor. Of course, you need to get a little bit acclimated with it, but it is usable. And it has a decent battery life for its size. Remember, this doesn't have the biggest battery, but it does support fast charging with that 65-watt GAN charger. That's pretty good. Excellent speakers for the size. I was surprised about that. I really wasn't expecting such a rich, full sound coming out of such a small device. 32 gigabytes of RAM. You get the 1 terabyte SSD storage that you can go up to 2 terabytes depending on which model you go with. So I think that is pretty good. Now, of course, not perfect here. Like most laptops here in 2024, the RAM is not upgradable. I'm not really sure how to get inside to service this. The fans are audible under heavy load. It's got a 12th gen CPU, although it is perfectly fine for everyday use. No place to store the pen, so you'll have to put it in your bag. There's no webcam, which is conspicuously missing. And I guess relatively expensive, although the fact that you're getting 32 gigabytes of RAM, a terabyte of storage or above, for not that much money, is not that expensive when you really think about it, although you are getting a 12th gen CPU. So just keep that in mind when looking at the price. But I think the quality of the device, the design, and the flexibility of this device just might make it worth it. So overall, I think they did a really good job here, and I think they executed a really nice ultra portable mini laptop with a 3-in-1 design. That's pretty unique here in 2024. And I want to say this, I do highly recommend it. I like it quite a bit. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. And don't forget to check out my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.